Please join me in prayer. Holy Spirit, like a potter, shape us, raw clay that we are, into a lamp, so that the light that you give us can shine for others to see. Amen. So I'm continuing in this sermon series. We're on number 4. This series about Shalom, about the kingdom of God, about broadly what is God's intent for the world. What does God want to happen, in my view at least. And this Sunday you've probably picked up from the hymns chosen, that sort of thing, that we are talking about welcoming strangers. Welcoming migrants is another way you can translate the word that is translated as stranger and alien and resident alien and wanderer and outsider and so on. And I got rather bogged down in the things that I've learned over the past 3 years. Being the organizer for the Phoenixville Area Refugee Initiative, I've been learning more about refugees and asylum seekers and also various kinds of immigration and migration. There's just a lot to talk about. I got really caught up in that. And then I realized, looking at the text, that I would have to, I was maybe kind of avoiding something. I was going to have to talk about hell instead. Now, normally, when I have something difficult to preach on, I can blame the lectionary. But this time, I have no one to blame but myself. Fair enough. Now, when hell comes up, it often takes over. At least in my thinking or my approach, just because it's such a high-stakes term. I know there's disagreement in the room about what that even means. That's nothing new. And it's also very complicated. Like, the people Jesus was speaking to in the New Testament didn't agree with each other about what heaven and hell were. That was one of the big differences between the Pharisees and the Sadducees, for example, among other groups at that time. The Old Testament changes over time in how it presents what happens when you die, what is God's purpose for the world, what is heaven, what is Sheol in that case. The New Testament also presents different takes on this question. The medieval church was different from the early church. The Enlightenment church was different from the medieval church, and we are different in some ways from all of those beliefs that have come before. And I get caught up. Again, maybe avoiding going into the details instead of just the bluntness of the text. So it occurred to me that we can take whatever we think the bad outcome is. Like, has anyone watched The Good Place? It's a good show. Whatever you think the good place is, whatever you think the bad place is, capital GP, good place, capital BP, bad place, insert that into the text and it will work, I think, just as well. Just as it did for Jesus' audience when he was talking about this to people who disagreed about what the good place and what the bad place exactly were. And then I couldn't resist. I printed out a page of things that I've learned about migrants and their situation in the country and some of the history. The pages are in the back on the table if you want to grab one on the way out. But very briefly, there is no migrant crisis. Illegal crossings of the border are at their lowest point in 20 years. Migrants are not a danger to us. They are less likely to commit crimes than citizens. They're also not a drain on our resources. They provide billions of dollars more in tax revenue to the economy than they receive in services. Crossing the border illegally is a misdemeanor crime, like jaywalking or speeding, which some of us have perhaps done. And if you look at the history of immigration law and naturalization law in the U.S., it is so racist. It's amazing. If people want to come here legally, it could easily take tens of thousands of dollars and decades on a waiting list. If you're coming here from China and you have a job and a family here, it could take 50 or 60 years to immigrate legally. 50 or 60 years from India. Meanwhile, in migrant detention facilities right now, children are dying of the flu. They're being denied flu vaccines. When people try to donate flu vaccines from nonprofits, those flu vaccines are turned aside and refused. Toddlers are going to court and defending themselves. Thousands of children have been lost from the system. They just don't know where they are. Thousands more children have been put into the foster system without their parents' knowledge or consent. Thousands of people have been deported, possibly to their deaths. And regularly, Border Patrol officers go out into the desert to destroy caches of water to ensure that people crossing the desert are more likely to die. So that's the short version. If you read the Old Testament, it is incredibly clear, made clear again and again at great length through texts like the one that Chris read, that God is the God of migrants. God says this over and over and over again, literally hundreds of times. It is one of the most repeated phrases in the entire Old Testament. God saying, I am the God who brought you out of Egypt. I am the God who brought you out of slavery. You were migrants, and so you must respect strangers and migrants and treat them as you would a citizen. Treat them well. Why? Because I am the God of migrants, and you were once migrants as well. In the Exodus to Egypt and the return, in the exile into Babylon and the return and into the historical diaspora that spread Jews throughout the world, God's people are migrants. And again, God says, remember that when you meet migrants and you're deciding how to treat them. You are migrants, and I am a God of migrants. In the New Testament, Jesus had the Roman Empire to sort of travel around, and so he didn't have to cross a lot of borders, but he was indigent. Jesus, during his ministry, had no home address. He had no residency. He wandered. The early church were invariably wanderers. They crossed borders freely. They went everywhere. They didn't even care. A few hundred years, they hit the Pacific Ocean in China. And so the early church was a group of, again, migrant people. When we read Jesus' own story, as we will coming up for Christmas and following, Jesus was a migrant. He and his family sought asylum in Egypt, fleeing from Herod. And so again, God is a God of migrants. And again, the refrain is, your ancestors were migrants and strangers and sojourners, and so you should treat them well. As a way of remembering that I am your God and you are my people. Not only is this treatment of migrants something that seems to be required for there to be shalom, but Jesus has to go and bring up hell. To bring up the eternal fire prepared for the devil and his angels. So as I said, Jesus is talking to crowds of people who disagree on exactly what that meant. And I restrain myself from getting into it to focus. Because the text in Matthew is pretty clear. Hell awaits us if we do not treat vulnerable people, including migrants, the way we would treat Jesus. So whatever we believe about hell, we will find out if we do not treat vulnerable people the way we would treat Jesus. In his own words in Matthew, Jesus describes the king sitting in judgment. One of the images of Christ is the king sitting in judgment over all of the nations, Christian and otherwise. All peoples are gathered together and the king judges them. And how does the king judge? Is it based on a creed that they had memorized? No. Is a theological quiz in which those of us with a seminary education could really shine? No. Are people given the opportunity to offer their spiritual resume? Here are all the things I have done. Not so much. The question is very simple. How did you treat the hungry, the thirsty, the stranger, the naked, the sick, and the prisoner? Based on the answer to that question, Jesus draws a sharp, bright line between sheep and goat, between heaven and hell. Now, I could focus on any of these categories of vulnerable people just as equally and say the same thing. The reason I chose migrants for this morning is in reaction to what I perceive as a growing rhetoric and increasing cruelty toward migrants in the United States, which only seems to be escalating. It does not seem to be getting better or calming down, at least from what I have seen. We are in a lot of ways inflicting a hell on people who are coming here. I mean, can you imagine the hell of having your children taken from you and possibly never seeing them again? And as we inflict that hell, the message seems to be clear. It condemns us to the same. Shalom is only shalom with everyone. The kingdom of God does not have internal borders. The table we're going to share this morning does not have a boundary, or a bouncer, or an application, or a test. That table is what shalom looks like. You come because you hunger. You come because you thirst. You come because you're welcome. And our job as the keepers of this table is to feed those who hunger and give those who thirst a drink, and to welcome all who come. Because as I said to the kids, and kind of blew their minds, it's a little bit mind-blowing, but only if we see Jesus Christ in the face of every stranger, in the face of every migrant, in the face of every vulnerable person, only if we see Jesus in them do we have any hope at all of seeing Jesus in the kingdom of God and knowing his shalom.